Okay, this next one I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna downvote it ahead of time because I just think it's okay. Let me just read it. Will something be done to address the conquest results due to lopsided nation populations? If nothing is done, I can see most players eventually swapping to Sandy simply because they'll always control the most zones. Okay, that you would believe based on having no idea of how the system is actually created. And please, guys, correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, but the way that the conquest tally works, first off, Sandoria, Windurst, and why am I freaking sitting down? Sandoria, Windurst, and Bastock are not that lopsided. Right now, there's 775 people online that are from Sandoria. 775, okay? Right now, there are 694 people online from Bastock. That's very, very close, okay? Right now, there are 556 people online from Windurst. Yes, Windurst has the lowest amount of people, but it's not like lowest by half, okay? The way that the system works is when one person gains regional conquest, right? Sorry. When one person gains conquest, okay, wins, right? The balance of power right now, Sandoria is in the lead, okay? Let me go ahead and do this. There you go. Balance of power on the top right, it says Sandoria, Bastock, Windurst. So Sandoria's signet is going to last shorter than Bastock and Windurst's signet, which means that Bastock and Windurst are going to get extra time to try and gather more conquest points in battle, okay? Sandoria in party format is going to run based off of what rank they are, of course, is going to run out of signet much quicker than the other two locations. Not only that, when you go into certain zones, right when you zone in, it will say who has control of the zone, and then it'll, let's say you walk into East Ronfar, it'll say occasionally this region is under Sandorian control, and then it'll say how it looks currently, like Bastock minimal, Windurst minimal, Sandoria dominant, and then under that it will say Windurst and Bastock are allies, right? So right now Windurst and Bastock are allied against Sandoria, so they are going to be getting bonus to the amount of their conquest points are going to count more than Sandoria's conquest points, right, for those areas, which means that it's it's not quite as likely that certain places are going to stay in one person's control, unless of course you're talking about like Ronfar, Gustaberg, and Sarta Baruta, which obviously those are consistently, not always, but more consistently going to always be Sandy, Windurst, and Bastock control, right? So it's really not as big of a deal as people think. It's kind of just a lack of understanding the way the conquest system works. Windy already has Ronfar, and yeah, Windy has already had Ronfar and Gustaberg both. Okay, a full 1/3 more players is big. This will become a bigger issue over time. It wasn't a bigger issue in retail, and retail was lopsided as well. It's just not. They create the region conquest is created specifically to keep something like that from happening. And also, who has control over an area, whether it's you or whoever, isn't really as big of a deal. Because once you have your outposts, which eventually your nation will control all the outposts at least once, and you get your outpost warps, who cares who controls it at that point? I mean, I understand like there's certain things that you can buy from certain vendors, or you can only buy certain things from certain vendors if you're in first place, but I mean, you will be in first place again, just stockpile, bro. Like you can make it work, okay? Nobody's gonna be switching from Windurst to Sandoria for conquest results. I'll tell you that. Otherwise, they're not a real Windurstian. Okay, if there's one thing I know about Windurstians, is they're very specific, dude. And they don't care if they're in last place because they are Windurstian. And that's worth the last place to them. Okay? I'm just gonna say. All right. You also gain more CP and other nation controlled areas. There you go. Reese asks, there are rumors that every class has a custom quest like the Thief Treasure Hunter necklace quest. Is there any way that you can let us know if that's the case, if that's just a thing that's exclusive to Thief at the moment? The quest seems really fun, and to have something similar on every class would be amazing, even if it's not necessarily game-changing reward. Can you confirm whether or not classes other than Thief have custom quests like that? If so, can you go further to say if all, some classes, or specifically what classes have something along these lines? I'm going to go ahead and upvote that because honestly, I am kind of tired of them being so tight-lipped on everything. They're not making it better on themselves. Believe me, they're not. Like, it is not human nature to want to hashtag play and find out. It's just not. Get over it. If it's your own thing, that's good that it's yours, but it's not anybody else's, okay? Or not hardly anybody else's. The overwhelming majority of the community wants to know. So just give them the information they're asking. That's so I'm gonna be very honest about that. Rangar asks, is it possible to re-implement the additional starter mobs with over 4,000 people actively daily? Starter zones seem to be always lacking mobs. I don't think Era Retail server ever had this many players active. That's not true. They did. I remember Era Retail having more than 4,000 people on at one time. Okay, I just do. I completely remember that being. Do you guys remember Era Retailing having more than 4K members online? I don't think they have to implement. I'm going to downvote that one because I don't think they have to re-implement it. I think they need to find a happy medium. They need to find a happy medium and just leave it at that. Not re-implement. Re-implementing is not is not going to do anything. Upvote. Prototype, another great question, buddy. Does Play and Find Out have an expiration date if some stuff is just never uncovered? What a great question. I love it. However, telling people where something is and what to do, I don't think is a great game. No, I don't think it is either. But simply saying such a thing is in the game to go find is fantastic. Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. I mean, I feel like the community will go ahead and you know, they will find a place where we can agree. We will find, you know, the common denominator, if you will. You know, we will find common ground is what I'm trying to say. Okay, where you know, the information that you're willing to give is fine or acceptable enough to, you know, your players. It's different being a private server because they are the ones that are paying for everything, and they have the right at the end of the day, even as much as it annoys me, they have the right at the end of the day to make the game in whatever vision they have, and everybody else can take a flying F as far as they're concerned. And I think that that's fair. I don't like it, you know, I don't like it. But at the end of the day, it is fair. If you don't like it, you can make your own private server, you know? But if you do, and you know, you can make your own, and if you don't have the ability to, well, then you have options and you find the best option for you and you play it, you know? So, yeah, I don't want to put it that way. So I would just like it if they would go ahead and say, you know, the community wants this. You know, let's just give them what they really, really want. Let's just be careful about it. I think that would be good. Kimchi asks, there is a serious lack of tanks at various level ranges. I'm not going to go into reasons why, but can we look into offering experience bonuses for certain roles to incentivize more players to play tanks? Whether that is removing the level sync penalty for tanks or a flat XP buff for tanks. 5 upvotes, 95 downvotes. Yes, I'm going to downvote that, okay? We talked about this a little bit earlier, but a lot of people weren't there. If you want more tanks, then take up a tank. This is a community-driven type of MMORPG. You have to be the change you seek, okay? If you want more tanks, play a tank. If you want more healers, play a healer, okay? Don't make it easier for people to incentivize other people to do something. Just play one of those things. That is a perfect example of someone asking for something that they don't understand the ramifications of. Exactly. That's a really good way to put it. So I'm gonna move on, but I downvoted that one. Kane asks, what was the thought behind the plus 15-second recast on Utsusemi versus just making Utsusemi ni level 38? That would have been so much better. It seems to hinder ninja mains more than it does subbing ninja. It really does. That is such an upvote. That is an upvote for okay. Honestly, would I be upset if they got rid of Utsusemi ni for sub? Abso-freaking-lutely. But if you don't want everybody and their mother subbing ninja, then get rid of ni. That will literally solve all your problems. Get rid of ni for subs. Make it level 38. That way you don't have to worry about it anymore. So wow, that's a great question, dude. That's a great question, because that would literally solve everything, wouldn't it? You know, I really like this question, but I know a lot of people probably didn't upvote it because they don't want this to take up the 10 question slot. And that's kind of the problem with only asking 10 questions or answering 10 questions. Good questions like this don't get asked. And the question is, are there any plans to add custom content such as new notorious monsters or gear? Or will the game strictly be based around rebalancing the 75 era experience? That would have been a really fun question to ask or to have them answer, you know? Too High Strung asks, Ninja feels terrible and Sub Ninja feels exactly the same as before. Are there plans on adding this issue? Addressing this issue, my bad. Ninja feels terrible and Sub Ninja feels exactly the same as before. Are there plans on addressing this? That's bro, upload rather. I mean, upvote. My goodness, upload. Oh, upvote. Oh, stop it, hero. Okay, listen. I think what they should do is just combine all the ninja questions into one and just have one conversation on the whole exact thing, on the whole entire thing. But this is one of the many reasons why I unlock ninja tonight, is because of the fact that I want to find out exactly what else needs to, like, what actually is different about ninja when I play it. You know, I want to know, are people really, do they have merit in what they're complaining about? Or are people just complaining for the sake of complaining, and a lot of other people are just going along with it because that's what the masses are saying, so they're just pushing it and saying ninja sucks, ninja sucks, ninja sucks. What level's your ninja? Oh, I don't have a pass, I can't unlock it yet. You know what I mean? Like, you know, that's a real thing in life. People just go along with what's popular and not actually know what the hell they're talking about. So that's why I'm gonna level ninja. Okay, at least a sub. What is the development team's plan for managing Sky and H&M populations once the majority of the player base starts to reach max level? With almost 10,000 accounts in the server, it seems like having 2,000 people running around Sky at any given time could cause massive lag issues. Okay, that's not actually possible. There's not going to be 2,000 people running around Sky. People are really overshotting the amount of people that are going to be doing endgame content. Completely overshotting it. Okay, the majority of the population of this server on average hovers around, probably I would say, like 37 to 3,800 average, right? I'm taking the really slow times and the peak times. It's about 37 to 3,800. There's no way that over half of that is going to be in one zone. So just stop. Okay, now I do like this question though, because I think the overarching, I just see that they're over exaggerating tremendously on it. Okay. The same could apply to H&Ms. Is there any plan to implement some sort of population system via KSNMs or other means in order to help mitigate the larger than retail era server size impact on endgame? I think that's a great question. I just feel like I just think they exaggerated it quite a bit. Honestly, if there's more than 2 groups in Sky, it's not even worth wasting time up there. Okay, that's fair. That's very fair. Again, I played Era for years and I rarely did Sky. I rarely did C. I didn't know. I not rarely. I didn't do C. I never even got far in my Chains of Promethea quests. You know what I mean? I was just enjoying everything else in the game. You know, like I said, I'm just a citizen, bro. I'm a citizen of the world and I enjoy playing in it. You know, but all the endgame stuff, I just wasn't really that much of a part of it. I plan on doing it this time around, but I mean, then again, I may not. Who knows? I'm gonna go wherever the game takes me. With everything on multi-hour cooldowns, just won't accomplish anything. I agree with what you're saying. Maybe they'll do something with the effect of increasing the spawn rates of the enemies that drop pop items, and making it so that you can, if you are in a group that kills this enemy and gets the pop item, that you cannot do that again for like 24 to 48 hours or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Maybe they can institute something like that. That way people don't just swap parties and yada 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 and just keep on spawning it, you know? Chains of Promethea was a skill wall. A lot of people won't see Sea or Sky. I don't think that they will either. Sky isn't linked to Chains of Promethea. True story. No. It's not. It's Rise of Zillart, but it is still a, I wouldn't necessarily say a skill wall, but I mean, you got to do a lot of stuff in order to unlock Sky and Sea. And the reality is a lot of people are going to miss the boat. You know, I mean, look at me. I'm 40 something on my Dragoon and I'm talking about starting level 1 tomorrow on Ninja. And once I get to 37, I'm talking about starting level 1 on freaking Samurai and getting my sub up. You know, all this before I even start on my Chains of Promethea Zillart missions. You know, I might miss the boat. Who knows? Oh, okay. Thibsy asks, are people interested in seeing resources and time being time put towards implementation of Besieged? Yes or no? What with the current booming population and Treasures of Ottergan being quite far off, this might be a bit early to ask, but here goes. If at all viable population-wise by the time it releases, will there be an attempt to implement Besieged? I am such a big Besieged person, and I believe I might have asked that question when Ophelia was in chat the other day. She wasn't very forthcoming in information about Treasures of Ottergan, obviously. But I believe she said they haven't really started working on it. Or I could be wrong. She may not have said that. Even still, though, that is 8 notorious monsters camp, plenty for more than only 2 parties. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I think that Sky and Sea will become a problem in the future. I think that's why are those people that are trying to rush to Endgame right now just to get that stuff out of the way and get the gear that they want before the masses get over there.